Thick fog wrapped around the road like a dense blanket as our bus drove into the abandoned town. My friends and I had been planning this trip for a long time. The legend of Silent Hill had fascinated us, and now we were here, in a place that seemed frozen in time. The driver pulled over to the side of the road, gave us a tired look, and quietly said, "I'm not going any further." We exchanged glances, but no one argued. Grabbing our backpacks, we stepped out, and the bus, like a ghost, disappeared into the fog. The town greeted us with dead silence. No bird singing, no rustling leaves, just a strange coming from the depth of the mist. The streets were empty, the buildings looked abandoned, but we felt like someone was watching us. The first strange discovery we made was when we reached the main square. On a bench lay an old newspaper. The date on it was today's, though the paper looked like it had been there for decades. Jessica picked it up, but immediately screamed and threw it away. Her fingers were smeared with black stains, as if it wasn't ink, but something more sinister. Suddenly, Michael pointed at an old cafe sign. "Light," he whispered. "There's a light on." We stepped closer. Indeed, inside the cafe, a lamp flickered. Even though the town was supposed to be deserted, the doors were unlocked and we entered. The air smelled of dampness and ash. On the tables lay plates with petrified food, and in the far corner sat a man, his face hidden under a hood. But we felt that he had been waiting for us. "You've come," his voice echoed, and a chill ran down my spine. "You shouldn't be here. Leave while you still can." We exchanged glances, but before we could ask anything, the lamp flickered and went out. When we turned on our flashlights, the man was gone. Only his chair swayed slightly, as if someone had just stood up. The fog outside thickened, and we realized that leaving the town would now be much harder. Daniel suggested finding a hotel. Maybe there were still some usable rooms. We headed there, but the further we walked, the stronger the feeling of being watched became. Footsteps echoed behind us, but when we turned, the street was empty. Suddenly, Emily screamed, pointing ahead. In the middle of the road stood a figure, tall and unnaturally thin, with a blank face, no eyes, no mouth, but we knew it was looking at us silently, intently. Then it took a step forward, and we ran, bursting into the hotel. We slammed the door shut and bolted. Inside was dark, the air thick with decay, but at least we felt some protection. We moved into the lobby. On the reception desk lay a guest book. The last entry had been made just days ago. Though that was impossible, we started reading and came across a note that made my blood run cold. 7 entered, none left. There were 7 of us: Daniel, Jessica, Michael, Emily, Ryan, Sarah, and me. Suddenly, a low, creaking sound came from behind, like nails scratching wood. Michael turned and dropped his flashlight. Something stood on the staircase, its features indistinct, but its breathing echoed in the dark. We froze, holding our breath, and then it lunged. We ran up the stairs. Doors to the rooms were locked, but one was ajar. We rushed inside and slammed it shut. Emily sobbed quietly. Michael panted heavily. We pressed against each other, trying not to make a sound. Outside the door, we heard footsteps, then scraping. Something was clawing at the wood. Then silence. We thought it had gone, but then the door slowly began to open. We froze. Fear paralyzed us, but nothing entered. Only the fog seeped inside, curling into the corners of the room. Suddenly, Sarah gasped and pointed at the mirror. It was not our room, but something else. An abandoned hospital. Dripping pipes. Silhouettes of people wrapped in bandages, and among them, the faceless creature. It raised a hand, and at that moment, we heard a voice right behind us. "You are already dead." The light went out. The room disappeared, and we found ourselves in a long hospital corridor, the walls covered in rust, the air thick with the stench of blood. We walked, not knowing where, until we heard crying. At the end of the hall sat a girl. She lifted her head, and we saw that she had no eyes, only empty black voids. "Why did you come?" she whispered behind us. Heavy footsteps sounded. We turned, and it was there. I screamed, but the sound was drowned by the wailing of a siren. Pain pierced me, and I lost consciousness. Waking up, I was back in the town, but it was different now. Dead, the streets had vanished. Only emptiness remained. My friends lay beside me, but they did not move. Only the fog remained unchanged. I closed my eyes, hoping this was a dream, but when I opened them again, I heard a quiet whisper, "You will never leave," and I knew the legend were true. Silent Hill never lets go of those who enter.